All right, this is Rudy. I just want to put out 7 offenses that I think warrant the death penalty. I was reading the sentencing of Lonnie Vernon, the foul-mouthed Alaska trucker, and I have a soft spot in my heart for truckers, the backbone of this country, farmers, mechanics, engineers, people who work on the road, our roadways, the laborers of this country, and they may not speak with the most articulate voice. They may not speak, with the King's English. But when Lonnie Vernon was talking, one of the things that he said over and over again is, "You bastards didn't declare war. You need to declare war." And we are in a war in this country. People who can see past what just the lies in mainstream media. We realize there's an absolute war going on, and there's consequences, and there's real innocent people being put in prison. There's innocent people that are being killed. The 9/11, the Oklahoma City, all the false flags that are going on. We have cops now that are being killed. Let me just say, in the Dallas cop shooting, I have a friend who knew one of the cops, and he went to the open casket, and he saw that he was friends with the cop, and he talked to him. So there's real people that are dying, and there's a war going on, and it's being instigated by people who hate the United States of America. They hate the Constitution, and they hate liberty. And so I just want to say that once this thing turns around, if I'm ever granted with any position of authority, and ultimately that's up to God, I don't seek it, but if ever that is responsibility is put on me, I just want to publicly state 7 offenses that I would go after as far as the death penalty once they're convicted in a court of law. Group number 1, anyone who has paid monetary gain to participate in a false flag event to modify the political agenda of the United States to go against the Constitution. So if you participated either in the setup or the cover-up of 9/11, Oklahoma City, Sandy Hook, other false flags that have occurred in the United States, if it's proven that you participated in a false flag of the so-called corporate United States of America to change our political and foreign policy, then I would seek the death penalty for you once you're convicted in a court of law. Absolutely. Number 2, any attorneys who work for the corporate United States of America who knowingly withhold exculpatory evidence, which is evidence that proves the innocence of someone, and if that results in the imprisonment of an innocent person, then I would seek the death penalty for you, because you as a United States attorney have a duty to pursue the truth, not to put another notch on your belt and to stick an innocent man in prison. And even if the man is there's question as to his guilt or not, you're not allowed to withhold exculpatory evidence. So if I'm ever given any position of authority, I will know out, and it's proven beyond a reasonable doubt, I will seek the death penalty for any United States attorney that works for the corporate United States of America that has knowingly withheld exculpatory evidence from trial. Once it's convicted in a court, once that's been convicted in a court of law, death penalty for you. Number 3, if you knowingly put out a fraudulent birth certificate and you knowingly put out a fraudulent Social Security card, and it has resulted in you being POTUS, President of the United States, as well as Commander-in-Chief of our military, you absolutely get the death penalty once that has been determined in a court of law. Number 4, any news media that has participated in stories that knowingly deceive the public in order to change public policy, you absolutely get the death penalty. And that may seem a little harsh to some of you because you think, well, they're just lying and they were told to lie and they're just news people and they're not, they're just doing what they're told. It doesn't matter. The penalty has to be harsh because we have to prevent something like this from happening in the future. So if you are an employee of the news media and it can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that you knowingly have participated in a deceptive story which did not occur, but you reported that it occurred, or you reported differences and you knew it was a lie in order to change public policy or to be an anti-constitutional agenda, you absolutely get the death penalty if you knowingly lied about it. That's absolutely what I would do. I would seek the death penalty for anybody in the news media that has knowingly deceived the public. Number 5, if you're part of a program, if you're part of a program and you're knowingly putting elements in our atmosphere, such as strontium, barium, aluminum, and you're participating in either the cover-up or the disbursement of poisons in our air, otherwise known as chemtrails, and you may think you're doing it for the good of humanity. You may think you're doing it to avoid global warming. It doesn't matter because you're knowingly deceiving a public who did not give you consent to do that. It was not debated and voted upon. Because you are poisoning our air via chemtrails, whatever the case may be. If you're participating in that program, even if you think you're doing it for the good of humanity, the death penalty for you. I would absolutely seek the death penalty for you once it's proven that you participated in a deceptive program that goes against open debate about what's right for the atmosphere and our air quality. That may also go for fluoride in the water. Okay? The sixth group is if you're openly pushing for any agenda which restricts gun rights within America or vaccinations. If you're forcing vaccinations on anybody and you're pushing towards that agenda and you're pushing towards restrictive Second Amendment rights, I would push for its vaccines and gun rights, the death penalty for you. Once it's convicted in a court of law that you participated in activities which restricts gun rights and forces vaccines on people. The seventh group is if you work for the CIA or a prison industrial complex and you have knowingly participated in the torture of another human being, whether it be Abu Ghraib or the CMU in Terre Haute, Indiana, or the CMU in Marion, Illinois, if you have knowingly made the temperature so hot that a prisoner cannot stand on the cement, or you've knowingly made the temperature so cold that the toilet water freezes, and you've 4-point shackled a naked prisoner to a concrete bed for days at a time, if you have sleep deprived a prisoner by yelling at him every 30 minutes, if you have what's the waterboarding? If you've waterboarded any prisoners, I will seek the death penalty for you once you have been convicted in a court of law to have participated in anything like that. Okay, so just to summarize, once these people, and I know you think right now, oh, the Federal Reserve. Well, maybe I've got 8 groups. If you have any involvement or alignment with the Federal Reserve that has robbed the American people of their labor, the fruit of their labor, the farmers, the mechanics, the engineers, the people who have, built this country. If you have any involvement with the fiat money currency, and if you've benefited by manipulating the fiat money currency to benefit your own self and your own powerful agenda, and that's worked against the United States, then the death penalty for you. I would absolutely seek the death penalty for you once that's proven in a court of law. So I think that's 8 groups. Let me just summarize real quick. Anybody participated in a false flag, death penalty for you. Any attorney working for the corporate United States of America that's knowingly withheld exculpatory evidence, death penalty for you. Anybody who has knowingly put out a forged, fraudulent birth certificate and social security card resulting in attaining the office of President of the United States or Commander-in-Chief of the military, death penalty for you. Number 4, any news media people who knowingly deceive the public to change public policy. If you've knowingly participated in a false news story, death penalty for you. Number 5, anybody who participates knowingly in deceptive programs to poison our air and water, death penalty for you. That's number 5. Anybody who has knowingly implemented gun restrictions or forced vaccines on us, number 6. If you've knowingly participated and been involved in programs to torture people, that's number 7, death penalty for you. And number 8 would be anybody who has any involvement with the Federal Reserve in robbing the American people of the fruit of their labor, death penalty for you. So that's 8 different groups. I understand you guys right now have not declared war, but I would say that cowards go around and they don't declare war. They operate under sniveling secret, and they try to be subversive, and they do incrementalism. But bold men, they just state, they say what they mean, and they mean what they say. And you guys might have the money and the power and the numbers at this point in time. But once this thing turns around and righteousness comes back to this country, if I'm given any sort of input or authority to pursue a righteous agenda, those are 8 groups that I will absolutely seek the death penalty for, and I think is worthy of the death penalty. If you have other agendas, if you have other groups that are warranted of the death penalty, I would be interested to hear your thoughts. Now, keep in mind, I'm not going to go out and make premeditated plans to murder anybody, but I'm just saying, once this thing turns around and we get control of our justice system again, I will seek to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty of any one of those 8 offenses. My vote and my intentions are to ensure that people that participate in those 8 activities receive the death penalty. If you have other areas, I would be interested in your thoughts.